Well, for just one race at the moment. Hello guys, and welcome to Monaco for my first ever F1 race, my first ever 100% race, and I couldn't have chosen a better place to do it. As you can see, I have qualified last with a pretty appalling qualifying lap, to be honest. Even though it was on the primes, I probably could have been 2 or 3 places further up, but as the lights come on for the first time in my F1 career, and they're out and we get off to a good start, getting the jump off of Kex, who was a bit slow away. And we're running into the first corner, hoping for no carnage this time round, and hitting the apex nicely. But there's a few cars in the wall there, and Woody is slow out the corner, so I'm using a bit of curse to get past him, and now I'm up to P5 already. So a great start there, and I got Tadger just in front of me, who has also made quite a few places up. But see me running wide there, and now Woody's on the attack, having a look down the inside as we come to the right hander, as I give him some room, almost hitting the wall there, and now running down to Lowe's hairpin. Squeezing him a little bit just to make sure he doesn't make a move on me into the hairpin. And now as we come round into the tunnel, keeping it quite smooth, but then a bit of oversteer, a bit of wheel spin as we come under the tunnel. That's going to allow Woody to have a little look up at the inside probably, but no, not quite close enough. But now coming into the chicane, and I outbrake myself massively, having to give up the place to Tadger, and unfortunately conceding the place to Woody as well, as I had completely forgot about 100% fuel. I was thinking more 50%, which is what I was used to. So on to lap 2 now, and you see I'm braking very early this time, almost turning in too early, and hitting the wall. And now Kex is going to get the run on me. Coming into the left-hander, I'm awful with names for corners, so I only remember a few of them. But now Kex is all over my backside, and looking every which way as he's coming down the outside now, as I give him room and hug the inside, but then run wide, and a little bit of contact there with Kex, and for some reason I caused the collision, but then hit the wall. And this is going to give Kex a great opportunity to run round the outside. If he's got a lot of curves, then that's going to work for him, but I've saved half of mine, and now I managed to keep the position in P6 and keep Kex behind me for just a little bit longer. As it's probably quite clear for Kex to see that I am not the best on heavy fuel, as I was very slow. But whoa, running again, almost identical to the lap before, hitting the exit of the chicane. And this is going to allow Kex to have another look through the swimming pool section. And I do go kind of defensive, but that's not really helped as I've run into the wall. Now Kex is going to have a great run around the outside. He's already got the place done, place booked. And now I have powers are up, I think, on the inside of me as we go into the final chicane, final corner even. Both managed to squeeze through there 2 at a time. And now I'm just using some curse to try and get away from him and into this first corner at Saint Devot, and I run wide, hit the wall. Will this give powers up a chance? I've used a bit of my curse to get away from him, running side by side up the hill into Massenet, I think this one's called, and then Casino, and I managed to secure that place still. And as we move on to lap 5 now, coming into the chicane, I've still got Poser up behind me and making the corner well enough, but bang into the wall, and that properly pissed me off because I'd hit that wall a couple of times in practice and not suffered any damage at all. But now we've got So Solid, or recovering So Solid, coming past it, but I'm getting so much understeer about the front wing, and he goes into this wall, hits me, and then I hit him, and then leaving him a bit of room on the exit of the swimming pool, and then he spins, and I'm probably to blame for that. So I'm sorry to So Solid for that. Probably should have just let you through, but I was trying to go slowly around the inside of the corner, and it just went straight on. So that was 5 laps. It only took me 5 laps to ruin my first F1 race, but on to lap 21 now, and coming up to Saint Devot, braking, locking up big time and smashing into the wall, losing my front wing and getting a puncher. So this is going from bad to worse, seeing as I'm last already, and it's not looking good. But I have decided to put the intermediate tyres on, as it had started to rain a little bit and the track was getting a little bit greasy. and I think I probably did pit at the right time. But on to lap 23 now, as we come out of the tunnel into the chicane, which is where most of the action happens actually for me. And getting a bit of oversteering, hitting the wall, spinning myself around, and by the time I managed to get myself going straight again, Power Up slapped me, but he's still on the slick tyres, and he understeered massively, and so have I, to be honest, and I've hit him, and I don't know if I've helped him go into the pits, but I didn't get a penalty for it, so it's not too bad, I suppose. But now on to lap 26, and there's a safety car, I believe that's Woody, who smashed into the swimming pool, into the wall at the swimming pool, and I am miles behind, so I've decided to take a risk and put on the wet tyres, as I had nothing else to lose, to be honest. So at least I'm gaining a place because of Woody's crash out. So coming out the pits, I think RD Centre for the win also pitted for wets, and so did Kex. But then a lap later I came back in and put the inters back on because it was definitely not wet weather tyres yet. And unfortunately I was the only one of the drivers left who didn't actually make the end of the crocodile.
Oh, fuck off!
And you can hear what I thought of that, as the second time in the race I'd crashed into the wall, having to come back in again for a new front wing and a new set of intermediates. It's just pissing me off because of what I said earlier about not having damage from hitting that wall in practice. But now on to lap 42, it's starting to dry out, I believe, and Kex there getting in the way of the leader Ollie Carter, as I managed to actually make a move, my only move apart from the start of the race, and I've unlapped myself momentarily from Ollie Cart, so I let Ollie Cart back through, and also RD Travis has come through, so now the battle for the lead is fierce, but most importantly for me, I'm ahead of Kex and making a little bit of a gap already. But on to lap 43 now, and Kex has gone onto the dry tyres, and he's caught me back up already. So at this point I knew that I needed to pit for slick tyres again, and just maybe catch him later on in the race. So Kex is heavily up behind me now, and I do put into the pits here with a bit of understeer, and Kex, I thought maybe he was just going to dive it down the inside, and I had to take him into the pits with me, which would have been a bit cheeky, but I would have done it because I've done it before. So into the pits now and putting on the prime tyres, which I think probably would have got me to the end of the race. But now you see Ollie Cart in front of me, who's the lead, and I think I managed to get past him because of a mistake. So again I've unlapped myself and up to and yeah, that was kind of how boring my race was, so because I had to show that I was unlapping myself. But then again, letting him back through to take the lead. Now on to lap 47, I believe. That is so solid just in front as I hit the wall hard at the left-hand director. I cannot remember the name of, but now there's only 6 drivers left now, and smashing into the wall, ruining my front wing, and that means I'm going to have to pit again for another set of primes I go for, and yet another front wing. So Ferrari must be getting through quite a few front wings in this race. Just as well I didn't have a teammate, to be honest, because otherwise we may well have been screwed with front wings. But on to lap 65 now, and I was catching Tadger about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds a lap at best, maybe only a second, but I've decided to just put on the options as Tadger was still a lap in front. But on to lap 72 now, and you can see Ollie Cart's in front of me, who's just lapped me, but I'm hanging on the tail of him quite well, and actually kind of closing a tad there, maybe just because it was under braking. But as we come up through the right hander now, and I turn in a bit too early, spinning myself round, that's not going to do my chances any good at all. But I knew I was miles behind Tadger, and I was like 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes behind Tadger, so there wasn't any chance of me catching him really. But on to the last lap, you see me making a mockery of that last at the swimming pool. But Ollie Cart has won the race. And for me, it's the first time I've finished a Monaco race, so it's good news as I come home in P5 after quite a few people DNF'd and retired. But you see Travis and So Solid also on the podium ahead of Tadger, and there's the pit stops if you can see them. Me making a solid 8 pit stops. Maybe that could have been cut down to 6 or 5, but still. thanks anyway, guys, for watching. Sorry if the quality's crap and the commentary's not that great. I haven't done it in a while, but hope to see you maybe in a few races time.